Hello and welcome to another Mike Likes Games StarCraft edition. I'm MLGSCE, and here we have another match between our red Ukrainian Zerg player Dimaga and Korea's own ASD, the blue Protoss. This is the second in a set of three, which appear to be some sort of skirmish of some kind. It's not there on tournament maps, but they are not from the, they're obviously not from the ladder, but they are not part of a major tournament. So they're just sparring off. ASD took the first game. He made a very convincing Century Modal all-in that Dimaga was not able to stop. It didn't help that early on in the game, ASD was able to block hit Dimaga's natural with a pylon and cannon rush his third, forcing Dimaga to take his fourth first, or as his first expansion, and then take his natural. And later on, he did start getting his third up, but by then things were already a little bit too late for him. He was not able to come back from that. The counter for that has TLO was able to reveal the counter for that is to make a whole lot of Zerglings to be able to counterattack up into the Protoss's main. But he was not able to make that happen. He tried some Baneling drops, but it was no good. In this particular match, it looks like ASD will be going for yet another Forge Fast Expand. Dimaga getting up his 15 pool, as one might expect. No hatch first, which is surprising, but so far no pylon there. ASD is clicking down there, though. He might get it. Yep, there he is. There's the pylon. Oh, no, he's choosing to instead do a little dance, but it just didn't work out. He wasn't quite on time. Both players getting up a fast expansion, as you might expect, since ASD is getting a Forge Fast Expand. And Dimaga's Overlord will confirm that right now. You see the Forge going up. Both players just going through their build orders. No shenanigans so far. No shenanigans. I always seem to expect shenanigans out of Zerg, just because they... I don't know, I guess that's just my own prejudice. I always think of Zerg being the race that's most likely to just throw down something sneaky, because so many of their mechanics seem to be sneaky. But it's seldom the case. As the tier 3, well, not seldom, but either way, the tier 3 units for Zerg are so powerful, and Protoss hasn't been able to come up with much of an answer, that it is better for them to get into the late game. Dimaga is opting for an early third in response to the Forge Fast Expand. Be interested to see if he gets a Roach Warren up here soon, to maybe go for Stefano max out. We'll have to see. A little probe dance with some Zerglings down here. It's a nice flying whale, of course, as there often are on this map. And the probe gets away. Zerglings taking some map control, taking the watchtower. Dimaga getting ready to be on a healthy number of bases. No major tech choices from either so far. Both players just making pylons, making probes, as they say. Okay, Dimaga's third is up and ready to go. Still no gas. Oh, 2 gases. And a third gas. No, that's not a gas at all, that's a spawning pool. Flying Whale and Zerglings, hailing. And that's going to be one lost Overlord here in a moment. Nope, the Stalker just goes ahead, lets it live for another day, apparently. Not too worried about it. And here it comes down. Where is it? It's right here, maybe? Yep, there's the Roach Warren coming down, as well as the Evolution Chamber. Looks like we're going to see a nice healthy number of roaches coming out of Dimaga here very shortly. He's also getting his layer tech so that he can get some speed on those roaches, as well as some little bit better upgrades. And we'll have to see what ASD does in response to this, as he is going to have a whole lot of roaches to deal with before too long. This little Zerglin making sure there's no proxy pylons like last time, no sneaky cannon rushes. Here come 3 more gateways, and the Warp Prism looks like he might be going for the same thing again, another Sentry Immortal all in. And we'll have to see if the mass roaches can do anything about it. Dimaga's getting his macro hatch. He's going to be building a lot of stuff very quickly, but let's hope he can do it fast enough to counter this all in. As said, there's the ranged attack, speed metabolic boost for the Zerglings, and the speed for roaches coming out all at once. There's the Warp Prism going in for a sneaky attack. We'll have to see if this Soul Queen can take care of it. I'm not sure if he saw it or not with this Overlord, but I'm thinking not, but he is going to spot it with this Zergling. Thank goodness for him. Is he? Oh no, he did not see it. Oh no, he's going to have major problems. There comes some some Zealots to reinforce. We finally made a move on that Overlord, but here it comes. And he sees it now, and he has some roaches to counter in the... Yep. There go the Zealots, but the Warp Prism's going in for it again. Dimaga's not going to be able to take that out with this Queen, and they're going to be in the main ready to rock. Ooh, it's still not a healthy drop location because of those Zerglins, and the Warp Prism is taken off. I can't imagine ASD is just going to let that go, though. Dimaga climbing up in food thanks to all those roaches. He's got 24 Zerglings on the way. ASD, seeing that Dimaga has quite a number of units out here, is going ahead opting to get a third instead of going for the all-in. And the Zerglings are ready for it, going in to take shots at that. And there's a lot of sentries there to block the way, so they call it a day. They regroup down here, just inside the watchtower range, I believe. Oh, but he had the watchtower himself, so never mind. Alright, they're gonna make a move on those Zealots. They're back up in that Warp Prism now, so he still can't get any shots off on him. He's got his 4th up and going. ASD's 3rd, well on the way. Dimaga's gonna have to make a choice whether he's gonna go home or he needs to do some damage. He's gonna decide to take out some rocks and think about it. This Warp Prism, however, spotted again by Dimaga, but Dimaga is not content to let that Warp Prism go, and ASD isn't just gonna have made all those units for nothing. He spent good quality Vespian gas on that Warp Prism. He's not gonna let it come to nothing. Although those Zerglings definitely look ready for it. Doesn't look like it's quite gonna happen now either. Sending over some roaches to help, but unfortunately roaches suffer from that condition where they cannot shoot up, so they won't be able to help much either. But either way, he is well establishing to ASD that he sees that Warp Prism and he does not want any drops in his base today. Well, to help out is a Spire coming up, so we'll probably see some Mutalisks here soon. No, actually, we have a Hive, or yeah, we have the Hive coming in, so we might just get, Hive, so we might just get to see some Broodlords coming out here soon, which is always a good thing. This Warp Prism going out, taking the Watchtower, and back in they head. No, they're staying? Okay, one is staying. Dimaga with a healthy number of spine crawlers here to ward off against drops. And in go the roaches and the Zerglings. Oh, and here's the Greater Spire coming down now. And Dimaga does not want to have a major confrontation right now. He just wants to hold things off until he gets Broodlords. The Roaches going in after the Stalkers, getting a nice, a very nice number of force fields to cut off those Roaches. Dimaga, they are still even on food, but this is a very scary Yamir for someone who just has a lot of Roaches. Fortunately, he has some infestors here ready to fungal. ASD pulling back, coming in for an attack on the other side toward Dimaga's natural, and a Colossus coming in to help. Still a very scary number of Immortals and Sentries here. The Greater Spire has finished, and he has some Corruptors on the way. Let's hope he can get the Broodlords here fast enough. This fourth, again vulnerable. He gets one fungal off on these Stalkers, but that is not enough to kill this many. More force fields going down, blocking the Zerglings. The Zerglings not being able to get any damage off. A couple of more fungals here, and these Roaches are here to help, but still not being able to do the damage he needs to do to defend himself. These Spine Crawlers are putting up a great fight, and these Infestors are having to run for it, but the Stalkers blink in, take 1, take 2, take 3, 4, 5, and all the Infestors down, and the Broodlords here to help. Dimaga's still ahead in food thanks to those Broodlords, but he's going to have a hard time defeating Stalkers like that. Amazingly, this fourth is still here and mining. And it looks like Dimaga has fended this off for now. The Corruptor's finally getting down that cursed Warp Prism. And the Zerglings have Stalkers on the run. A couple of forward pylons here. It doesn't look like ASD is willing to give this up, but I don't think he's going to be very successful with just these Stalkers. More Stalkers here to help, and those Broodlords should be coming up. Here they are hanging out. ASD very aggressive against this fourth base of Dimaga. He knows that he needs to do some major damage or he's going to start falling behind. And those Stalkers continue to go in, but there's the Broodlords ready to make them Broodlings, make it happen for Dimaga here. More fungals down, a great fungal down on all of these Stalkers. They are losing life fast. ASD back on, oh, and there's the GG from ASD. He tried to go in, but Dimaga was ready for him with some great defense, some great spotting against that Warp Prism. That Warp Prism could have been the end of it for Dimaga, but he was ready, and he saw it every time, so congrats to him. And we'll be moving on to Game 3. You guys, I'll see you there, and you stay classy.